Tonight, we ask, where is the honor? This week, we were treated to a scandalous video that put the Kitui East Member of Parliament, Nimrod Mbai, on the spot as he physically assaulted a Kenya Power engineer who allegedly disconnected power at his home in Kitengela. In the video, the MP is seen hurling verbal insults at the officials, words we cannot repeat, before he lost his cool and slapped the official. Where is the honor, Mheshimiwa? You represent hundreds of thousands of people from your constituency who are always watching. You are part of the honorables who are given the mandate to serve the nation at the National Assembly. Whether the institution KPLC was right or wrong in disconnecting the alleged illegal power line, the legislator had no moral authority to act the way he did. The video could have been interpreted as superiority versus inferiority. Well, career-wise, perhaps one is greater than the other. However, from a human standpoint of view, none is superior to the other. We all breathe the same air. We are all people. That said, this is not the only isolated incident of Mheshimiwa, whether in government or out of government, behaving badly with the mwananchi at the end of their brutal temper and brutal acts. Their names are out there and what they have done. So we ask again, where is the honor? You took an oath of office to serve the people and the country. Let us see you live up to it. There are better ways to solve conflicts amongst us. There are better ways to correct the wrongs others have done. That is why we have the institutions in place, like police stations, like the courts, where the aggrieved persons can always take their appeals. Let us use those particular institutions. And just as I said before, we are all human beings. We all breathe the same air. So let us treat one another with decorum. Here are the top stories tonight. Former Chief Justice Willy Mutunga and other activists find themselves in the hot end of it as the group were tear-gassed by police earlier on Saturday.
Raila Odinga was somebody's project.
What to do with the 10 million signatures? Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua takes a swipe at Raila Odinga following the protests on Friday. Where was Nyumba Kumi during the Shakahola deaths? Legislators probed the Shakahola massacre and why no one raised the issue previously. Welcome to the broadcast. It is good to have you tonight. You are watching EBN Weekend Edition. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. You can watch us live on Facebook and on YouTube. On EBN TV, our SMS line is 23993. EBN Weekend Edition begins right now. Many women in the country have been giving birth to children through cesarean section rather than the normal way. Currently, 19 counties have already exceeded the 15% level set by the World Health Organization, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. According to the Ministry of Health, hospitals are benefiting from the NHIF funds and they could be conducting more cesarean sections so as to benefit financially. Here is Belinda Williams with that report.
In 1985, the World Health Organization (WHO) set the rate of women who give birth by cesarean section, known as CS, to be between 10 to 15%. Kenya is now at risk after recording 19 counties with more than that percentage. Kirinyaga County leads with 40%, Kiambu follows with 33%, Tharaka Nithi with 30%. Nairobi City has 28%, Taita Taveta 27%, Kajiado 23.3%, Makueni 22%, while Meru and Embu recording 22%. Kisii recorded 21.7%, Kericho 21.3%, Murang'a 19.7%, Lamu 19.4%, Mombasa 18.8%, Nyeri 18.1%, Machakos 17%, Vihiga 16.5%, Bomet 15.9%, and Siaya County recording 15.7%. The counties with the lowest rates of C-sections are Wajir with 2%, Mandera and Turkana with 4%, while Samburu recorded 5%. According to the WHO, if 100 women are giving birth, then only 15 should use cesarean section. But then, that's not the case in our country. The Kenya National and Statistics Office (KNBS), which released this study, said that the number has doubled since the last study was conducted in 2014. The National Health Insurance Fund complains that hospitals may be pushing pregnant women to undergo cesarean process because the procedure is too expensive. Therefore, hospitals gain a lot. For instance, in 2016 to 2017, the health insurance paid 627 million for women who delivered by CS at the hospitals, 1.5 billion in 2018 to 2019, and 2.5 billion in 2019 to 2021. The latest statistics now cast a spot on hospitals and their appetite on receiving funding from the National Health Insurance Fund and whether most cases of cesarean sections conducted in hospitals are genuine. The Kenya Medical Practitioners recommends that the cesarean procedures should be conducted when the life of the mother or the baby is in danger or both. The WHO says C-sections can be essential in situations such as prolonged or obstructed labor, fetal distress, or because the baby is presenting in an abnormal position. Reporting for EBN, I'm Belinda William.
All right, that is quite an interesting report, and of course it is something that gives us all food for thought, doesn't it? Violence was witnessed at the Central Police Station in Nairobi earlier today after former Chief Justice Willy Mutunga, accompanied by justice activists, were kicked out of the station by the police using tear gas. The former CJ had gone to the station to demand the release of activists arrested during the Saba Saba protest on Friday. Mutunga was collaborating with other activists, including Boniface Mwangi. The team had camped at the police station, attracting a crowd that the police termed as a threat, and so they used tear gas to disperse them.
They were brought here at Central Police Station, and since yesterday we have been trying to have them released unconditionally. We have just come from the meeting with the DCIO, with our legal team, and he was telling us that so far they have been able to process 26 of them, and then the rest have to be processed in the course of the day, because we are pushing for them to be released unconditionally.
Saa hizi bado tunajaribu kushinikiza polisi wawachilie waandamanaji. Wakikataa tutaendelea kuwashinikiza zaidi mpaka watolewe. Wakiwalete mahakamani Jumatatu, tutakabiliana na wao.
Now, during the celebrations of the Saba Saba protest yesterday, Azimio leader Raila Odinga threatened to take about 10 million signatures from Kenyans who support him and use those signatures to remove President William Ruto from power. Speaking in Giatiu village in Madira constituency, the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has described the exercise of gathering signatures of the leader of the opposition Raila Odinga to remove the Kenya Kwanza administration from power as wrong. Speaking in the village, Gachagua said the elections are not decided by signatures. He said this while attending the funeral of David Murithi, a grassroots political supporter. Leaders from the north of the Rift Valley also asked the leader of the opposition to resign politically and accept the results of the last general elections, that President William Ruto is the elected president.
Raila Odinga was somebody's project, and it failed miserably. Even those demonstrations, they have been planned and financed by the project owners. We want to ask them. They are saying that they can remove President William Ruto from office. They were unable to stop him from becoming president when they had power, the system, and the deep state. How do they intend to go about it when they are outside there in the wilderness? How can they stop him? So we want to tell the people of Kenya, there is no constitutional provision for anybody to collect signatures against a sitting president. They are just wasting their time. And we want to urge our president to stay focused, to continue doing the right thing, to continue on the journey for economic prosperity and the empowerment of our people.
Leaders from the North Rift region have called on Azimio leader Raila Odinga to retire from active politics and assume the role of a statesman, citing the recent protests. Kapenguria Member of Parliament Samuel Moroto and his Sigor counterpart Peter Lochakapong called on Raila to now focus on the next phase of his political career.
Ati sijui kupinga, sijui kuandamana, kufanya nini. Wangekuja hapa, waangalie kwamba kumbe kazi inaendelea. Na hiyo kuandamana hiyo ni kelele ambaye sasa haiwezi kusaidia kupeleka Kenya mbele. So nataka niwaeleze kwamba wakubali tu ya kwamba Wakenya walifanya uamuzi, wakachagua Rais William Ruto, na wakitaka kufanya apili, waangoje mpaka 2027. Tuende tena kwa debe, tueleze Wakenya waamue, lakini hii maneno ya kutaka kufanya shortcut. Kwa sababu wengine nasikia anataka kusema tufanye masa hii, tuchukue signature, sijui tutoe Ruto kwa ofisi. How? Katiba ya Kenya inasema kwamba ukiamuliwa kwa wingi ya watu, wewe unakuwa president. Na hiyo hakuna mtu alalamika wakati results zitolewa na watu walifanya uamuzi wa ukweli. So kwa hivyo nataka niseme ndugu zangu wale ambao wako pande ile, mkuje tutembee barabara moja na tujenge Kenya hii pamoja, kwa sababu tukiungana tutakuwa na nguvu. Hiyo ndio nilikuwa nataka niseme, kwa sababu wale wanataka kuchochea watu, kupatia watu mawazo ambayo haistahili katika Kenya hii na vitu ambayo hatujawahi kushuhudia. So wanataka kulete. So kila mtu afanye bidii, kama ni wakati ya kampeni kila mtu apige bidii. Ndio tuone sasa ukonvizi wa Kenya, peana sera, alafu kutoka kwa hiyo sasa labda ukupigie kura. Lakini kusema kwamba tutumie mbinu zingine ya kutoa watu katika maofisi, haiwezi kubalika.
Wengine wanakuja wanasema tutaki tena. Sasa mnasuluhisha Kenya namna gani? Hata mimi ndio kwa rais, hata nikianza kwa point hiyo watu waje koti minyane naye. Kwa sababu Kenya kuna watu, kuna mali hatuna uongozi kama MCS area fulani, wajumbe constituencies mali fulani, by election ikafanyika hakuna. Kwa hivyo nataka tu niseme kwamba hii mambo ya nini ya maandamano, hebu tuketi chini kama wangwana, tuketi chini kama wazee na tufikirie tutafanya nini mbele, na tuelekeze vijana wetu waende kwa njia ile mzuri.
Kiambu County have officially launched a 5-year development plan that will cost 168 billion shillings. The program focuses on changing the appearance of the county and will address complex issues in various sectors within the county. Kimani Wamatangi, the governor, said that in the financial year 2023 to 2024, his county intends to work with annual budget of 21.6 billion shillings. In the next year, the number is expected to rise to 23 billion and subsequently 25.3 billion shillings in 2025 to 2026, while in 2026 to 2027, the budget will be at 27.5 billion shillings and 29.9 billion shillings. The health sector, which has been facing overcrowding in hospitals, shortage of equipment and staff, as well as inconsistencies in the supply of medicines, has a higher estimate of 40 billion shillings.
127 billion will be funded by the national government appropriations, while 40.17 billion every year will be every 2 years will be financed through the private partnerships and development partners. Kunaweza kuwa mtu asikie huzuni ya kwamba miaka 10 ile ilikuwa ya mwanzo ya ugatuzi labda ilipotea. Nataka niwapatie hope na hakikisho
yangu kuja ni kuwaomba. Shida moja tuko nao Kiambu, kama kwangu Ruiru hawakurudisha MC hata moja, hata mimi niliponea chupu chupu na maendeleo yangekwama. Wewe juzi tu umenipatia ardhi tujenge huduma center, sasa nikienda itajengwa na nani?
Uasin Gishu County Governor Jonathan B. has come out to apologize to the Eldoret business community following Thursday evening's cleanup that left a trail of destruction of signage and billboards, including those of banks. The business community had threatened to stage a demonstration in town while accusing the county administration of high-handedness. Uasin Gishu County is set to host the 2023 Devolution Conference from 15th to 19th of August.
What was even shocking and has shocked most of us is that even the corporate signages, like the one for Safaricom, the ones for Equity Bank, and a ramp that facilitates people with disabilities to access an ATM was pulled down.
An illegality of that manner, destroying people's business people signages, pulling them down, was championed by the county government of Uasin Gishu.
The county government Department of Lands, Fiscal Planning and Urban Development conducted an exercise to enforce the outdoor advertising laws and regulations as part of the preparatory measures for the forthcoming devolution conference scheduled to take place in August this year. There might have been excesses in the conduct of the exercise. The county government has taken note of the same and the concerns from the affected business community, and it is addressing them. I wish to appeal to the business community to work with the county government in complying with all the laws.
The former National Steering Committee on Nyumba Kumi has ascribed the Shakahola massacre to ignorance by top security officials by the previous and current administrations. They have argued that existing Nyumba Kumi clusters were privy to the information which was not seriously taken up by regional and county commissioners and the relevant security authorities. The former team, which stepped down in 2018, 3 years later since the inception in 2015, say the reports gathered were not even taken by the government and they are yet to receive a 14 months pay for their work.
Nobody ever wanted even to receive this document from us. We use the government resources for us to be in existence in those offices. When we were approached the appointing authority, by then CS, and the PS of the Minister of Interior, it was not easy for us even to meet him. Yes, Matiang'i. He promised that within a week we should be paid. That never happened.
There is no way, Chairman, that thing would have happened in Shakahola without that Nyumba Kumi knowing. Because one Nyumba Kumi will communicate with the next Nyumba Kumi. Assistant chiefs were facilitated to have various committees, form them, sensitize them, train them. The OCS of the police station where Shakahola falls under, he'll be asked, which policeman did you assign to be a member of that cluster?
So there must have been a breach in the trust that could lead for people not to report.
What we do not understand is the presidents, both President Kibaki, Uhuru, supported this. High-ranking government officials, ministers. It's like this baby, everybody wanted the baby. But when the baby was born, nobody went to see that baby in the hospital.
We sued the Attorney General and the Office of the Minister of Interior, and we gave the evidence in court, and we won the case. And we are actually supposed to be paid. But they are dragging again, and they want to appeal, which is their right.
A police officer has committed suicide by shooting himself at the Bondo police station in Siaya County. The officer is alleged to have killed himself after shooting his wife and leaving her with injuries. According to Bondo Police Commander Ibrahim Kosi, the man had a dispute with his wife that caused the incident to happen. The body of the deceased has been taken to the Bondo mortuary while the deceased's wife continues to receive treatment.
I am the Sub-County Police Commander Bondo. This morning it was unfortunate. We had an incident whereby one of my officer, Michael Kialo, he shot himself. He was issued with a rifle to proceed for work. But before that, he returned to his house, whereby he picked some quarrel with his wife, and which resulted in shooting his wife and himself. Although he died from the shot, but fortunately the wife was injured, and we rushed her to the hospital. She's now under she's getting medical attention here at Bondo District Hospital. So we have started the investigation. So we have commenced investigation. Then after investigation, we'll be able to have the full details of what transpired. You know, it is now we don't have exactly what happened because it was just a cool officer, a good officer. So we don't know what happened. This is why we have commenced the investigation, and we shall, by the end of the day, we shall be able to know what happened.
As the Agricultural Society of Kenya gears up to host this year's Nairobi International Trade Fair, slated for 25th September to 1st of October 2023, society is now seeking to eradicate the water shortage problem that normally comes about during the ASK shows due to the high demand for the commodity. The ASK management has now embarked on a rigorous process of curbing the menace, which includes the recently completed 65 million shillings litre tanks that Kefa Nyachwaya, the showground services manager, says will save Nairobi residents who used to pay extra coin in order to access water through vendors to compensate for the deficit. The show will no longer need to depend on the Nairobi County water.
Nairobi show is coming, and it's coming up, and all the water is going to be diverted to the show. That has never been true. Embraces a rainwater harvesting system, which is ultimately harvested and stored in a 750,000 liters water tank. Current capacity is 65,000 cubic meters, which is equivalent of 65 million liters of water. No dependence on the county water. Addressing the shortage of such facilities within Nairobi. And one other aspect that is really important is for everybody to know that the facility is available for use offshore period. From January to December.
To sign on a lot of exhibitors in the water conservation industry. We are also looking at green gas emissions. We are looking at solar systems. So we are bringing all those together.
Mombasa County Governor Abdul Somad Sharif Nasir today launched a project to provide food to kindergarten students in the city. The 96 centers are located in 30 wards of the county. The program aims to increase the number of kindergarten students and also to end the number of students who drop out of school due to hunger. The project will be able to reach more than 8,000 students. The governor has also promised to build 3 cooking areas to facilitate the implementation of the project.
But for us to be able to increase the number of students, we need more kitchens. So I have instructed that they have to look at ways of putting up a kitchen that is going to be in the Vita constituency, another one going to be in Likoni, and finally another one in Changamwe and Jomvu. Right now, we are the first county in the whole of Kenya that came up with this exciting program where our students are getting free food at ECD level. We now want to ensure that we increase this to go further into community schools and schools that come from the slums.
Residents of Githima village in Gatwanyaga area of Thika County, in Kiambu County have decried increasing cases of insecurity and allegations of sexual violence against women. The residents who blame the daylight attacks on the quarry workers say the increased insecurity is causing unnecessary anxiety among the locals. The 80-year-old woman who was raped in Githima, Thika town, suffered from physical problems, while the residents of the area wanted security to be beefed up.
Wanashika wazazi wetu, wanyanya zetu, na imagine huyu nyanya ni nyanya mwenye alimshika ni mtoto ya mtoto yake. Vile alikuwa anaelezea. Alisema ni mtoto ya mtoto yake. Kwa hivyo sisi sasa tunauliza hapa tutakaa aje?
Watoto wadogo wako huku shule Githima. Sasa wakipitia huku Makware pia tuko na wasiwasi wakienda home juu utashindwa ama mtoto wako. Sasa labda akitoka shule akuje kwa job umpeleke nyumbani tena urudi kwa kazi. Sasa hata ukienda nyumbani uko na wasiwasi. Utafunga mapema uende nyumbani ndio usipatane na mtu kama huyo.
Kama huyo vyenye alielezewa ni mtu mwenye hatumjui. Kwa hivyo tunaona tutafutiwe ulinzi ya kutosha na kila mtu ajitambulishe, wenye hatuwajui wajitambulishe ndio tuwajue.
Nataka kuomba hao watu wa security agents wajaribu kutuondolea madawa ya kulevya na bangi na vitu zingine zinatumiwa na watu wenye wanafanya vitu kama.
Now here is something I know Manchester United fans are not happy about. Manchester United's goalkeeper David De Gea has left the club after 12 years. The club has confirmed United have already started their search for a replacement and of course have identified Andre Onana as his ideal successor. Football director John Mato is already in talks with Inter Milan to see if the Reds can reach an agreement for the 27-year-old. De Gea has made over 500 appearances for Manchester United, won a Premier League title, 1 FA Cup, 2 League Cups, 3 Community Shields Cup, and the UEFA Europa League. Well, so the end for De Gea's history, 12 years at Manchester United, the latest, of course, of many more players who will be leaving their various teams, even if the transfer window is still open in England. The league is yet to resume, but I must mention we are preparing to witness World Cup for the Women 2023, the Women's Football World Cup. Very exciting, isn't it? Well, that brings us to the end of our broadcast tonight. Thank you for your valuable company. Always a pleasure to have you watching us from wherever you're watching us from. True Worship is coming up next with Pastor Julius Mutuku. You definitely do not want to miss it. Have yourselves a fantastic, blessed Sunday ahead and stay warm. Good night.